Today we're going to show you a really simple and sexy way to use some automation to actually tag into AI responses and be able to actually get AI to respond to any sort of client data or client form that you may have. So to give you an example of this, we have a client that she has about 50 different customers, and she's a PT, a personal trainer, and she sends that information out every single week and asks those customers to be able to reply to that questionnaire, and she gives them a personal response. So what we were able to do is create a workflow, an automated workflow that actually tagged into AI, ChatGPT in particular, and be able to give her a response to all of their answers of that form and give that in a personal way that sounds like her, and then send that out via email. So let's jump into it and I'll show you how that's done. Okay, so here we are inside HighPeak Pro, and the first thing that we want to do is we want to actually add some custom fields for our form. So the idea here is that we're going to have a form, and we want the clients or the customers to be able to fill out individual fields, but we want to save those fields against that customer inside the CRM inside HighPeak Pro. So the way that we do that is we just come up to add a field, and we can choose between any of these different selections here, and they all do different things if they're numbers or single lines or multi-lines, etc. And you select the one that you want, go next, give it a quick name, throw it in a folder so that you keep everything nice and neat, and then save that. Now, we have done that already. If you come into here and we see the client form data, you can see that I've already filled out quite a lot of data here for the form that we're about to create. And then once that is done, I'll get my melon out of the way. I come back over to here and go to sites, and up to the top where it says forms, I go builder, and I can straight away see where the client form is that we built a little earlier. And let's run through exactly how I did that. So over on the left-hand side here, you'll see add form element. So this is where I'm dragging different form elements straight into this block here, be able to capture data, whether that's name, phone, email. But the cool thing about it is I've also got my custom fields that we just created, and I can drag them in as well. And when that person obviously fills out the form, the great thing about that, we're going to capture that data, and then the magic happens back in the automation. So let's fire back over to there. Let's say we filled out that form and completed it and saved it. Now we go into an automations tab. Let me get rid of that tab at the top there. Go into the second page, and we have got our little workflow automation here. It's super simple. All it's saying is once that form is submitted, the form is the client weekly form, weekly client form, sorry. Once that trigger fires, then what it does is it fires off to the AI, gives that all of the answers from the form, and then it updates another custom field, so we're able to capture that response and then fire that field over to a custom value so that we can read it and respond to it. Or in this case, and what we've been able to do with our client, is we put an email directly on that, and then we drag that data out of the custom field, whack it straight into the email, and then we fire it straight back to the customer. And that is a personal response from our client back to their client based on AI. Now let's have a look at the AI, because this is really the most important part of this entire video. So we've given AI 3 different directives. We say act as if, right? So act as, and we give it a parameter. And then we say I will, and we give it more parameters. And then we say you will, and we give it more parameters. So let me show you what that means so we can actually get some little bit of clarity around this. So the first part of the response here, you can see I say, I want you to act as a female personal trainer who is reviewing people's weekly review answers, looking for me to give personal responses to the form submission. The form submissions are from clients that I do online training with, so I ask for a video if they need any assistance. So that's the first part of the 3-prong parameter. The second part is I will. So I will provide you with the questions and the answers from the client. The questions will be after Q, full stop, and the answers will be after A, full stop. So I'm giving it clear directions here, and then I start to drop in the questions. So I'm pulling the questions directly from the form. These are identical. The only difference is after the A, full stop, I'm dropping in the short code for the actual field that was on the form. So when we go back to our contact fields, each time that I create a new custom field, it generates a new little bit of custom shortcode that I can pull that data and pull that answer from that contact in that CRM and drag that over and stick that in this workflow so that AI can read those responses from that person and formulate a response. So we go through and put all of the questions in here. Let me get rid of that so it doesn't play out. Oh, having a little bit of fun times. So we scroll right down here, and then at the very end, you will see the last part of that three-prong response. Now I'm going to tell it you will. So I'm going to say you will read all of these answers and then formulate a response that is caring, educated, and help the client achieve their personal goals. And then because I want to condense that up and keep it small, I add your generation should be no more than, and give it 300 characters as a response. So somebody fills out the form. They go through their execution logs, show that it goes through. ChatGPT formulates a response. It reads all of the answers, all of the custom fields, and then it spits out at the end and fills and automates a custom field, which we did over. I'll just get out of that and come over to here, the custom values. You'll be able to see what that response is. And you can see it has responded to my dummy data that I filled out in the form. It says, great job following your training plan, smashing your performance. Let's work on making your sessions more enjoyable. So it's giving me a personal response to my answers that I've been able to fill out in the form. And that's it. It's that super simple. And the cool thing about that, and the little advanced tip that I was going to give you at the very end here, is what we also did with the form is we added some more conditional logic in there just to say, look, if this question here is a 2 or a 1, potentially that could be hazardous to the client's health. So make sure that you notify me straight away. So we put internal notifications on that form just to fire it straight back to our client so that they could see that their client was being healthy and looking after themselves. Look, it's a simple way of adding some conditional logic, a normal form, and giving it the right parameters, and then getting AI to go through the answers of those forms and be able to save yourself 10, 12, 15 hours a week. Now, if you're a PT, gym owner, maybe you're a personal coach, maybe you're some sort of educator, and you've got a lot of forms that are coming in on a day-to-day basis, week to week, ask yourself, how much time do you spend each week trying to go through the data and give personal responses? It's time to be smart. It's trying to get our business to create the habits and the systems so that they work for you. Take a high peek of exactly what you're doing. Get some AI to help formulate the responses and fire that off and start to automate the entire system just like this. We'll see you in the next video.